Hey guys, so for you folks out there, I have a van conversion channel, a van traveling channel. It's a backpacking, hiking, camping, kayaking, anything to do with me getting outdoors. That's what this channel is all about. We do gear reviews and we get into a lot of camping and collaboration hikes with other YouTubers and other people. So if that's something you're interested in, boom, hit that subscribe button there. I think it's right there. And hit that notification bell. Give me a thumbs up or whatever. But I do appreciate you watching. Thank you. Let me show you where we are down here. This is where we were last night. This is the Jensen Beach Causeway. Now there's a bridge. You can see there's a bridge up there that crosses, and this is where we come at night. We come down here and hang out. But they redid all of this area here. Plenty of boats coming. That's the Indian River out there. Actually, it's the estuary. We've got way down there an inlet, the St. Lucie Inlet, and then heading north, you have a Fort Pierce Inlet, and it just keeps going on further. Vero Beach, Sebastian, all the way up. So this is Jensen Beach, and this is where Nancy and I come down here and we park the van and have some mellow time. So as you can see from the thumbnail, oh wait a minute, let me show you one thing before we get into this. Check this out. My sticker board's getting filled up, so I'm gonna have to start going elsewhere around the van. But I do want to point out my most recent one, and there it is. Ice Bear Hikes. She's my friend, and appropriately I put her up there right next to a senior hiker. So Ice Bear, thanks for the sticker. I'll put her link below. She has a great YouTube channel, and check her out. And I cannot believe that it's been a year, actually over a year, a little bit over a year, since Nancy and I purchased this van. And the big question was in the thumbnail, has it been all worth it? Has all this work and money that we put into this van been worth it? And the short answer is absolutely yes. We have not even scratched the surface on what we're going to do with this. We've taken a few trips. We've taken one long trip. We've taken a lot of short trips. We've added new equipment to this. We found out what works, what doesn't work, what we can add, what we can get rid of, different things like that. And I think that's always going to be a work in progress with this van. So, for you folks who don't know, this is a 2020 Ram ProMaster 136 wheelbase. There is a 159, which is, you know, the difference between 136 and 159. And again, now if we were to do over and we had that opportunity, I probably would have went to the 159. But these vans are not that available, especially newer ones with low mileage and a good price. So when we found this, when we actually hesitated a little bit, but we did scoff it up. It had 30-some thousand miles on it. We put quite a few on it since then. And so let me go over some of the things that I feel I may change or wouldn't have done. And let's get into some of that, and we'll go over some of the things in this van. And do I have some wood? The van has run impeccably. Impeccable. The van has run very well. But the next major trip, I probably put new brakes in it, and I may upgrade my tires to something to more of an all-terrain type tire, being that if I go out west and I'm on a lot of BLM land or places that have a lot of dirt roads and rocky area, I just want to make sure my tires are equipped for that. I like to get larger ones, but not too large where I'm going to have to change my shocks and stuff like that. But I'll probably upgrade and to different tires and have the whole van completely checked out from brakes and motor and everything before I take on a trip like that. So that's the van itself, the engine and everything. to keep this thing running, which is probably the most important thing. But let's go ahead and I'll show you some of the things on the inside. One of the first things, major improvement that we had done in the beginning, let me get all this crap off here anyway, it was this swivel seat right here. You push down on that, and this seat swivels all around. We didn't do the driver's side, but because it wouldn't have worked because we have our refrigerator there, but the swivel seat works excellent. There's where we keep our steps for the outside here. The swivel seat was a big plus, a big improvement. This is my switch for my dimmers on the main part of the cabin. I do have a line that comes out here from the sink that if I want to drain directly out from my gray water tank outside, I can do. I have a little pull down area here. This pull down area here acts as a little table for us, and as you can see underneath, I keep this fan, which is fantastic. We keep a little basket here to put trash in. This here is a pop-up for dishwashing and stuff like that. We fill that with water and bring it out. And I got a leash for Dexter, and I've got my 1-burner butane stove under there. Back under there, you can see where my gray water goes into the 5-gallon tank, and then also where the line comes out to drain actually it comes out on the bottom here, that line that I showed you over here to drain the gray water tank. So all of that has worked out really well. Let's go ahead inside. I'll show you a few things in here that we did. Up above the driver and passenger seat, there's all this storage up here. What we keep up there, we had a custom-made windshield to go, not windshield, but windshield covering to go across the front to block out, and it really keeps the heat out of here also when the van is parked. I also keep up here Trekology table. It's that table we use all the time. It worked out really well. I love that table. We keep there's a tarp here, and I'm going to get into this on our next trip. It's coming up in a few weeks. I devised a tarp off of the outside of the van to cover the opening, and I'll show you how that works. And I actually did one for the back too. We got window coverings up here for every window in here to black it out. We got a couple more that we keep right here. They're for the rear windows. Again, that's our step and our swivel seat. We took and put all this indoor-outdoor carpeting over the whole driver's passenger side to match a little mat here to keep things clean in here. Okay, going on to our refrigerator. This is a Dometic refrigerator freezer. You can use one or the other, but you can't use both. Now, Nancy and I have mixed feelings about this. Her problem with it is that being that it's a reach-in, that you're always kind of looking for something. I feel that for 3 days, 4 days of food, that's not a problem for me. This thing has worked absolutely perfect, no problems. We kept it on for over 3 weeks. Every day of the week we had it on. It just stays on constantly like your refrigerator does at home. It gets down, I keep it at about 34 degrees, and it keeps everything just nice and fresh. And I think if we put things in separate little containers in there and we kind of mark them, we'll get that better. We'll get better at doing that. I actually have to pull my seat up a little bit just to be able to keep the door open. But so far, to me, that's worked out fantastic. We have, like I said earlier, a little container down here that pulls out. We store stuff in there. Also have a drawer in here that we keep, I don't know, all sorts of crap in here, maps, papers, everything. All right, this is something that I would have done differently. This is a big cabinet, okay? It opens from up to down. Try to make it sound like we did that on purpose, but at the time we had a hard time getting the hinges up here. But after we did it, we found that if it was opened up, it would have covered these two lights. And this does act as, we don't put a lot of weight on it, but it does act as a kind of a little level table here for us, would pull things out on. So I would have made this cabinet a little smaller. It didn't need to be that big. And but we do keep all our food up in here, not all of it, but a lot of our dry food stays up in there. I doubled up on the magnets. I put one here, put one there, and it stays closed while we're driving, so that worked out well. The next cabinet is under here. These are doors, by the way. I don't know if you saw my videos, but these were actually cabinet doors that were sent to us for our kitchen in our house. But underneath there, we have pots, pans. I do have this fan. This is that fan that I bought on, it's a Chinese manufacturer, but I'll tell you what, I'll put a link to this. This thing is a USB charged, and it runs all night, and I hang it over by the bed. And during the summer, I'll tell you what, that thing worked fantastic. And so did the the other big fan we had also. This is our sink area. Now, the sink size is perfect. What I probably would change is this I probably would have put a smaller faucet there. My main goal was to be able to take this, turn it around, be able to spray outside, maybe shower with it or something. That has not happened. Basically, when I'm using this, I'm getting, because it's so big and high, I'm getting splashes down along the sink and on the wood there. And it's not a deal killer or anything. It works fantastic. But, you know, I think a smaller little, maybe one that came up about this high and out over this way would, or maybe just come up a little bit just so I could fit a pot or a pan under it, but not that big monster. It's not going to be changed anytime soon, but I've been looking. On the front of this cabinet, we did manage to take and do a pull down tray, which we keep, you know, I don't know, aspirin and toothpaste and all that stuff, brushes, all those things for taking care of ourselves. I forgot to say, up here where I keep my thing, I have pretty thorough first aid kit we keep up there. We put this little tray here. It's movable. This is my switch for my water pump, 12 volt. And I have a little note there, remove cap. That's to remove the cap from my water tank in the back, or it just sucks up all this air. So underneath, we have our cabinets here. This is our, let me get under there, our gray water system. It's bungeed in there. Right now everything's cleaned out because there's no water in the tanks. And as you saw from the other side, that's where we keep our other Boundless Breeze, that's a really good fan also. It blows out some really strong air. And we keep those things underneath there. So it's pretty handy to get at my gray water and also this. And these are on some major magnets also. So next to, across from that, you saw where we keep our pots and pans. We have a drawer here. In this drawer, we keep a little cutting board. We have utensils, knives, all that good stuff we keep under there. And that seemed to be really handy too. If you notice, our drawers aren't on like soft close or anything that, they're a little tougher to open and close, but they don't open up when I'm driving. These are actually soft close cabinets here. Boop. Bam. So we do have those on there. Right next to this cabinet, we have a seat. It's a small seat. The back of it's Velcroed on, but underneath there, we have an area where we keep towels and stuff like that. And I'll show you some bungee cords, but it's also where, and this is always hard to get out of here, but whoop, there you go. You can see where I have my batteries, and I can get at them pretty easy from there or from the garage area. Now on the 159, being that it'd be almost 2 feet longer, we could have made this seat a lot longer, or maybe reconfigured this whole thing. That extra 2 feet does make a difference. So I won't go through my whole electrical, but my solar panels and everything electrical has been working fantastic. The only thing that I'll probably add, and it's not a necessity at this point, is I think I'm going to put in a 2000 watt inverter. I've been running 12 volt totally and it's been fine, but with the inverter I will be able to maybe do a induction little stove and a blender, a couple of things, you know, laptops, maybe a little TV, different things that would run on 120. Like I said, it's not a necessity, but I just feel like when you're doing these vans that an inverter's, you know, without an inverter, it's kind of, you know, incomplete, if you want to call it that. So there's my shelf above our bed. This is where our headboard is, right around this area. And we got some shelving up in here. We keep stuff for night. I keep my fishing pole up there. We've got screens, a screen for the whole back. We also have a screen for this whole opening here. We can take it on and off, and it is up there, also stored above there. And when we're camping and we're at night, and we'll put it back on just to keep bugs out of the van. Again, there's all my stickers at the footboard. We open up those 2 back doors. I'll show you that in a minute. I have a dimmer switch that does these 2 lights back here, and I also have my Max air fan, 10-speed air fan. That's kind of working real good. You know, it sucks out the air and it blows some air in, but with the use of our other fans too, and the combination with that, it works really well. These cabinets, again, if I had to do over, I would have made them smaller. And again, they're opening from the bottom up. But again, I put my iPad up here with a little thing behind it, and we watch movies on it. So that's worked out too. Anyway, let's go back and I'll show you this side of the garage. I got a bunch of crap in there, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. So looking from the rear of the van, we have 2 windows in our van. I left the windows in the back. I don't think I could have dealt with this van without these windows. We also put a little shoe thing holder over here, and I have screens in the back. I put extra magnets here, and what I do is I'll pull up the magnet and I'll attach it right there to keep this open. So you can see here is our water system. I won't go through all that again. There's a thing there I keep my hose and electrical and stuff like that. We have 2 big chairs in there right now. We have an additional, this is something I add. This is a 10.5-foot telescoping ladder, which is going to come in real handy if I ever need to get up on the roof. We did not put the permanent one up there. They're kind of costly, and I didn't want to block out the back window, and who knows, I may be doing something with that back there anyway, but this gives me the option to go anywhere on the van and go up on the roof to fix my solar panels if needed, and something like that. So I've got a fire extinguisher over there, and I also have back there a carbon monoxide. You can't see, it's right behind that. There it is, right there. It's a carbon monoxide monitor. I keep an extra flashlight back here. Thank you, Vaunt, for sending me those. They're really working out well. This is my fill hose, This here is where I said the cap. Make sure I have the cap. That's my air hose. There's my fresh water tank. That's completely empty right now because I'm not using it, and I'll probably fill it up in a few weeks on our next trip. All my tools are in here. I could probably rebuild another van with what's in that, just in that bag alone. And I keep the screen the same thing. I can pull that magnet up right there and just open this all up totally. We have a full-size bed. It's an 8-inch memory foam. It's fantastic. I just fit in it. We have the slats underneath and the frame that came from IKEA. That's worked out real well. And of course, all my electrical under there. So let's go back and do a recap. So there you have it, my friends. We're absolutely in love with this van. It's working out perfect for us. We just constantly talk about the trips we're going to take. Of course, I have to work to make sure I make money to be able to do these trips, but that's all part of life, right? So anyway, just to recap, pretty much everything in here that I have so far will stay. I may change out the faucet at some point. I may put in a 2,000 watt inverter, and if I do put that 2,000 watt inverter in, I'll probably get one of those, I think they're called an induction stovetop. They run, I mean, I can get them to be a maximum. I think there's one out there that's they're inexpensive for like 1,200 watts, and that's on high power. You can adjust them down. It'll suck out a lot of the battery life, but the solar panels have been working real well. My DC to DC charger has been working real well. I'm going over in my head whether I want to add a shore power outlet in here so I can use a charger, or also use an electric heater during the colder months, because I do not have heat in here. I have a little buddy which gives off carbon monoxide, and I don't like using that. I don't like to sleep with it anyway. I'll take the chill off, but I think that a diesel heater for here would probably work, but man, that's a lot of work to put those in. They are kind of clicking, noisy. The real good ones are expensive. You can get some China knockoff ones, which I hear work real well, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm pretty good in cold weather. I think if I just take the edge off when I get up in the mornings and the edge off before we go to bed at night, I got, all my backpacking and quilts and all that stuff. So, I mean, I'm in a tent sleeping in it. I don't know why I can't do it in an insulated van. So we're not living in it. And I think if I was living in a van and I'm out in it all the time, I would make a change like that. So other than that, I don't know what other improvements, but it's been 1 year and it's been a hell of a ride, and I really like it a lot. This van, this Ram ProMaster, for me just worked out perfectly for Nancy and I, and we are enjoying it. So we are doing a trip in a few weeks. It's one of those St. John water managements where I reserve the whole place again, and Nancy and I and her Dexter are going up there. So until next time, guys. So I appreciate it. Until next time, thank you for following Walker's World, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. Huntington Beach.